Welcome to this tutorial on how to use the non-clinical staff customer rate card. The version of the rate card which I will demonstrate does not include any supplier names or contain any commercially sensitive information. The RM6277 pricing enables compliance with NHS England's agency price caps, and pay bands are in line with the NHS Agenda for Change pay scales. The rate card is available in two versions, NHS and wider public sector. The only difference being that the wider public sector version does not include reference to the NHS agency price caps. The pay bands are the same in both versions, with bands for AWR qualified workers being aligned to NHS Agenda for Change pay scales. The rate card is fully transparent, as all statutory costs and the supplier fee are broken down into the total charge rate. The award support tool is a tab within the customer rate card, which enables customers to direct award to the cheapest supplier who meets their requirements. There are 8 tabs included in the customer rate card. An introduction, which details the information on the contents of each tab. It is recommended that you read this tab before using the rate card. The supplier contact details gives a link to the RM6277 web page, which includes the supplier matrix and contact file. The charge rate tab is the main tab where you select information to obtain a full breakdown of the total charge rate for your worker. The award support tool will help you select the cheapest supplier based on your requirements, enabling you to direct award. The transfer fees tab is used if you are looking to make a worker permanent and are unable to provide the notice period required by the framework. You can use this tab to calculate what the fee will be for the transfer. The fixed term costs tab is used if you are looking for a fixed term placement where the worker will be on your payroll. The nominated worker discounts tab is if you're introducing the worker to the supplier to be compliantly onboarded via a framework. This tab shows the discounts offered by the suppliers for this route. And the 12-week discount tab should be used if you're considering a longer placement, as some suppliers offer large discounts for if the placement is over 12 weeks. If you are looking to direct award, the starting point is the award support tool. You need to work down the boxes, making selections as required. In the first box, the lot number required is selected. Lot 1 is for admin and clerical roles. Lot 2, corporate roles. Lot 3 for IT roles. Lot 4 is the legal lot. Lot 5 is for scientific, technical and clinical coding. And Lot 6 is estate facilities management and ancillary staff. It's important to note that Lot 1 covers roles in bands 2 to 5 only, whilst Lot 2 covers roles starting from band 4. Lot 3 starts from band 3. Lots 4, 5 and 6 cover all pay bands. I will demonstrate by first selecting Lot 1. Scrolling down to the pay bands box, you can see that the only pay bands available to select are bands 2 to 5. I will amend to Lot 2. Scroll down to the pay band box, and there you can see that all pay bands are highlighted apart from bands 2 and 3. And finally, I'll highlight Lot 6. Scroll down again to the pay band, and you can see that all pay bands are available to be selected under Lot 6 because they are all relevant to that lot. In this example, I'm going to select lot 1. The next step is to select the region where the role will be based. This is not a mandatory field, but we do suggest that you make a selection here. I'm going to select region 2, Northwest. Step 3 is to select the specialism. This is not a mandatory field, and these are broad headings which may not cover all roles in each lot. If your field is not shown, then don't make a selection here. For the purposes of the example, I'm going to select HR. The next selection is mandatory, as it is the pay band. In the example shown on screen, lot 1 has been selected, so only bands 2 to 5 relevant to that lot are shown. Please use the Charge Rate tab to check the correct band the rate you will pay your worker sits in. For example, an annual salary for the role is £25,000 per year. By using the salary converters, I can calculate the correct hourly PAYE rate, which is £12.79 per hour. That sits in band 5. In the award support tool, I select band 5. Once you've made all of the selections, a list of suppliers will be produced at the bottom of the award support tool. The least expensive supplier is shown at the top. In this example, Wolves are the least expensive supplier, followed by Brighton. The most expensive supplier is Fulham at £2.66. The supplier fee is based on no DBS check required, which is fee type 3. I will now move on to demonstrate the Charge Rate tab. This is the key tab in the rate card, as it is where the total charge for a worker can be calculated. Located in the top left-hand corner of the Charge Rate tab are a series of drop-down boxes which you need to work through in order to calculate the total charge for the worker. First, you select the lot required. In our example, it's lot 1. Then select your chosen supplier. Based on the award support tool, the supplier we've chosen is Wolves. The shift type uses NHS enhancement rates for weekdays, nights and Saturdays, Sundays and bank holidays. For this example, choose weekdays. The checking level has 3 types: no disclosure, with disclosure, and patient facing. No disclosure means that you require the standard pre-placement checks only, including proof of ID and right of work. With disclosure is where you do require background checking, so a basic DBS. Patient facing is for patient-facing roles where the worker requires a full occupation health check, including blood tests, and is the standard or enhanced DBS. For the example, we'll select no disclosure. If the worker has been introduced to the agency by the customer, in nominated worker discount, you would select yes. In this example, we'll leave it as selected as no. For suppliers with a wage bill of over £3 million per year, they qualify for the apprenticeship levy. The rate card field will default to yes. If the supplier cannot charge this, it will not appear in the charge line and will be blacked out in the drop-down box. The pensions enrolment defaults to yes. The customer needs to check with the supplier to see if the worker has opted out or not. If they have, you change the field to no. Pre or post 12 weeks refers to how long the worker has been in place and is to ensure compliance with the Agency Worker Regulations, or AWR. Once the temporary worker has been in the same post for 12 weeks or more, they are entitled to equal treatment as permanent members of staff in the same role. Hourly or daily, you need to alter this to your preference for an hourly rate or a daily rate. The high cost areas supplement uses NHS enhancements based on inner London, outer London and fringe in order to add the correct percentage increase to the basic PAYE rate. Selecting NA in this field shows that the role is not based in a high cost area. Having selected the drop-downs, as I've talked through, the charge rate can now be calculated. The basic PAYE needs to be entered in the yellow column within the correct pay band. In this example, the correct pay band was band 5. The PAYE rate was £12.79. Once the basic is entered, all other elements of the rate are automatically generated. WTR is calculated based on 28 days holiday per year, pre-12 weeks, and 35 days holiday post-12 weeks, both inclusive of bank holidays. Employers' national insurance contribution of 13.8% is calculated using the secondary threshold allowance of £175 per week. The pay rate column illustrates the cost of pay, WTR, and ENIX. The supplier in this example is unable to charge apprenticeship levy, so 0 appears in that field. The pension contribution is 43 pence per hour. The supplier fee is the tendered fee as per the checking level and is shown as an hourly or daily figure based on the selection in the drop-down box. This is the maximum fee chargeable. In this example, the fee for no disclosure is £1. If that checking level is amended to with disclosure, the fee increases to £1 and a penny. The 12-week discount is applied to the supplier fee after the worker has been enrolled for 12 weeks or more. The total hourly charge for the worker is £17.10. This is subject to VAT. NHS price caps are set by the NHS. Please note that if the worker pay rate is within the band minimum maxed range and the supplier fee takes the total charge rate above the cap, the variance to the NHS price cap will be shown in the column directly to the right of the total charge column. This is to assist in highlighting where the total charge exceeds the cap. In our example, the price cap for weekdays in band 5 is £24.06. So the total charge is under the cap. And £6.97 is shown in green to indicate this in the variance to the NHS price cap column. The charge rate tab also includes a contractor fee calculator located in the right-hand corner of the charge rate. Under RM 6277, contractors are considered as workers who are not PAYE. They can be provided through a limited or personal services company or via an umbrella company. The contractor is paid a rolled up rate equivalent to the sum of pay, WTR and ENIX, as opposed to you processing these separately as if you were payrolling the worker. In order to calculate the correct contractor rate, inclusive of WTR and ENIX, the rate card has the contractor rate column in column H. To assist in calculating the correct contractor rate, we have added the contractor rate calculator in the top right-hand corner of the charge rate tab. First, the lot you require needs to be selected. For this example, I'm going to select lot 3 with the supplier as Brentford. You need to ensure the weekdays are selected and select post 12 weeks and daily. We recommend that all contractor rates are based on post 12-week rates and daily rates. In this example, the daily rate payable to the contractor is £650. So I enter £650 into the daily rate section, click on calculate, and that provides me with the PAYE figure to be entered, which is £497.94 to be entered in band 10A. Giving a WTR daily rate of £77.48, ENIX of £74.58, and a daily contractor rate of £650 as required. The transfer fee tab is used to calculate the transfer fee if a customer is looking to make a worker permanent but is unable to provide the extended hire period notice of 4 weeks. Before a contracting authority can take a worker permanent, the worker must be in the placement for a minimum of 12 weeks. A contracting authority must therefore give an extended hire period of 4 weeks from week 8, or for example, 6 weeks from week 6 as a sliding scale. If a contracting authority wants to take a worker permanent any time after the worker has been in placement for 12 weeks or more, then the 4-week extended hire period must be provided. If the extended hire period is not given, the contracting authority is liable for a transfer fee, which is calculated in this tab. First, select the lot. In this example, lot 3. And then the supplier involved. Select Brentford. The checking level and the nominated worker discount need to be specified, as this is linked directly to the supplier fee. Select with disclosure and no nominated worker discount. Then you need to input the number of weeks notice required. For example, if you are taking a worker to a permanent position after 6 weeks, the required weeks notice is 6 weeks, which you would enter as follows. The transfer fee payable is then shown in column D. Fixed term fees are calculated as a percentage of the worker's yearly salary, broken down pro rata if the placement is less than 12 months. If the worker is kept in the role for over 12 months, there are no further fees for the second year. Each supplier's employment agency percentage for each pay band is shown in the fixed term fee tab. To calculate a pro rata fixed term percentage, enter the employment agency fee for the supplier you wish to use for the appropriate pay band, and the tool will then break down the percentage chargeable per month. So, the nominated worker discount tab can be used to check if the supplier you wish to engage offers a discount if you introduce the worker to the supplier. The 12-week discounts tab can be used for reference to check the level of discount a supplier offers once the worker has been in the same role for 12 weeks. The framework management team are available to provide you with support in making your award. If the requirement is for direct award, further support and advice will be provided on using the rate card and the award support tool. For support, please contact info@crowncommercial.gov.uk or by phoning 0345 410 2222. That concludes this webinar. Thank you for viewing the guidance.